We bought a sofa from the back room of IKEA and accidentally summoned a demon. It was supposed to be a quick trip to IKEA. Our new apartment was a blank slate, and we needed furniture, starting with the sofa. Sam and I had been together for 3 years, and this was our first place together. We were excited, buzzing with that strange kind of energy that comes from starting something new. IKEA on a Saturday? Sure, we were ready. After winding through the maze of staged rooms, pretending we could afford more than we actually could, we finally found the sofa section. It was chaos. People everywhere. Kids jumping on furniture and couples bickering over color schemes. We thought we'd just grab something basic, but nothing seemed right. Everything was either too expensive or too bland. That's when he appeared. The salesman was tall, gaunt, and his skin looked almost gray under the fluorescent lights. He seemed out of place, like he belonged in some forgotten corner of a thrift store, not this cheery IKEA. "You two looking for something special?" His voice was gravelly, like he'd been smoking for decades. "Yeah, we need a sofa," Sam said, trying to be polite, but clearly ready to keep looking on our own. "I got something in the back room," the man said, glancing around like he was letting us in on some secret. "Not on display. Real unique." Sam and I exchanged glances. We should have walked away, but there was something about the way he said it. Something that felt compelling. "Sure, we'll take a look," I said, before I even realized I was speaking. He led us to a door near the back of the warehouse section, a plain, unmarked door that didn't seem like it should have been there at all. Inside, the lights were dim and the air felt heavy, like we just walked into a room where no one had been in years. In the center of the room was a sofa. Dark wood frame, deep crimson cushions, and intricate carvings along the legs. It was beautiful and unlike anything else we'd seen. "It's vintage," the salesman said, his voice low. "Handcrafted. You won't find another like it." "How much?" Sam asked, almost in a daze. "For you two," the man said, leaning in closer. "I'll make it cheap. Just take it off my hands." We should have questioned it. Asked why it wasn't out with the other furniture, why the price was so low, but instead we nodded. It felt like a dream, like we were already invested in owning it. The rest of the day passed in a blur, loading the sofa into our car, driving back to the apartment, unpacking the tools to assemble it. As we started piecing it together, the carvings on the wood seemed to shift in the dimming light. I told myself it was just my imagination, the way shadows played tricks on you when you were tired. It wasn't until Sam started hammering in the last few nails that things got weird. The moment the hammer struck, there was a loud crack, not from the sofa, but from somewhere deeper, like the ground itself had split. A gust of cold air blew through the room, despite all the windows being closed. I felt it first, a crawling sensation up my spine, like someone or something was watching us. "Do you feel that?" I whispered, barely able to get the words out. Sam didn't answer. He was staring at the sofa, his eyes wide. The cushions had begun to shift, moving as though something underneath was writhing, trying to break free. The carvings on the legs twisted, forming symbols that hadn't been there before. Dark, ancient runes that glowed faintly in the dim light. "What the hell?" Sam muttered, stepping back. Before we could react, the center of the sofa erupted. A black, twisted figure clawed its way out, its body made of shadow and smoke. Its eyes, deep, glowing red, locked onto us, and I felt my heart freeze. The thing moved fast, faster than anything that big should. Its claws scraped against the floor as it lunged toward us, its guttural growl shaking the walls. "Run," I screamed, grabbing Sam's arm. We bolted for the kitchen, slamming the door behind us. My hands were shaking as I fumbled to lock it, but the creature was already pounding against the wood. Each hit rattled the entire apartment. I could hear its voice now, a low, dark whisper creeping through the cracks. "What do we do?" Sam asked, his face pale. I had no idea. This wasn't some haunted house movie where we knew the rules. We were just two idiots who bought a cursed sofa. I looked around frantically, and then it hit me. Those runes, the symbols that had appeared on the legs. They had to be some kind of spell, something that had summoned this thing. If we could destroy the symbols, maybe we could send it back. We need to break the runes, I said, my voice trembling. Sam nodded, though I could see he was barely holding it together. We grabbed whatever we could find. Kitchen knives, a hammer, anything that might work. We burst back into the living room, and the demon was waiting, perched on top of the sofa like it belonged there. It smiled, its teeth sharp and glistening in the faint light. I felt a chill run through me, but there was no time to think. Now, I yelled, and we both lunged at the legs of the sofa, hacking at the wood, trying to destroy the runes. The creature shrieked, its voice like nails on a chalkboard, and the air grew thick with the smell of sulfur. As the last rune shattered beneath the hammer, the demon let out a deafening scream, its body collapsing in on itself, dissolving into smoke. The room grew quiet, unnervingly so, and the air finally felt lighter. We stood there, panting, staring at the ruined sofa. "We're never going to IKEA again," Sam whispered. I nodded in agreement. No furniture was worth this nightmare. Thank you for watching. Please like, follow, and subscribe here on TikTok and YouTube.